Wherever you are in the world, namaste. So I want to share with you some insights on what I call the GAL formula, G-A-L, GAL. And GAL stands for gratitude, attitude, and latitude. Gratitude, attitude, and latitude. And I want to share with you a little bit of an insight based on some recent dealings, recent clients, coaching clients, people that I've come across, and in my own life. And I hope this may serve you. And the context for this is when we're in a situation where we feel that we're trying to get a certain result, a certain outcome from a certain situation or maybe a certain relationship, but we're frustrated. We get frustrated in our attempts to get that result, that outcome. And for some of us, it might be a resolution, a New Year's resolution that we're still trying to grab onto and complete. And some of you, if you feel that, I know you know what I'm talking about. And for some of you, it might not be a New Year's resolution. It might even be something like, a particular goal that you want this year, or there's a certain relationship that you're trying to improve. And then we get frustrated because it's not going in the way we want. And I want to invite you to bring your focus to these three things. Now, there are many things that contribute to the success of any particular thing that we want. We all know that. But in coaching, we like to narrow down our focus. We like to hone in. There are two things we do in coaching. We look at the bigger picture view at times, and then sometimes we drill down into specifics. And what we're doing here is we're kind of honing in on some of the specifics here, but using the specifics as they apply generically across all our endeavors, whether it's in our personal lives, professional lives, relationships, and so forth. So let's look at these three: gratitude, attitude, and latitude. You know, sometimes in a situation, we have the right attitude, but we're still not getting the results. There could be a problem with our latitude. That is to say, the approach that we take with it, the way we're dealing with it, that situation, the way we're treating it, the way we're working on it. Sometimes we may have the attitude and the latitude, but we lack the right mindset. That is to say, the right heart set specifically. And that's where I'm referring to as gratitude. But when we have all three, it really gives us momentum and a higher chance of achieving what we want. So let's look at them. Gratitude. We all know the value of gratitude. Well, is it not true that when somebody shows appreciation of you, like when somebody expresses gratitude towards us, how happy does it make us feel? It makes us feel happy, pleased. Most of us feel happy that somebody's feeling grateful for something that we've done for them. So imagine if we embodied that gratitude ourselves, what kind of results we can get in terms of our own performance, our own resilience, because the more grateful we are, the more resilient we can become. And it also means that when we go in with an attitude of gratitude, we're able to get more out of the person that we're working with. We're able to get a better result from the people that we're working with as well. So gratitude is the first thing. Starting any endeavor, even if we're midway through a particular goal that we've got, I want to invite you to go back and check in with your gratitude. What is your why? What are you grateful for at the moment, here and now? Like, what is it that you have? What is it that you've accomplished already in your life, in your personal or professional life? So in other words, do a mini mental checklist of the things that you're grateful for in relation to this situation. They may not be directly related to the situation, but it could be things that are of a parallel nature. What do I mean? Things where you've had success or you've had some nice things happen to you and you feel grateful, and you know that when you bring that mental picture of that gratefulness to you, it charges you up with the energy that you can then use in the direction that you want for this thing that you're doing. So that's gratitude. Go back, do a mini checklist, and think of a few things that you are truly grateful for, even if they're small, because that gratitude acts as the fuel. It's the catalyst that triggers the other things. That moves us to the second thing, attitude. What is our why? What is the purpose behind why we're doing that particular thing or working that particular relationship? What is our why? If it's a relationship, what is What is our purpose? Is it to make the other person happy? Is it to help the other person? Is it because we want to fall in love with the other person? What is our purpose? So when we talk about attitude, we're talking about revisiting our purpose and checking in with our heart and our mind that they're aligned, that we're coming from a place of goodness, that we're coming from a place of noble intent. Nobody needs to tell us when we're out of integrity with ourselves. It's just like with food. Nobody needs to tell us when we're full up. We know ourselves when we've had enough to eat. We're full. Nobody needs to tell us that. So it's the same thing, folks, with integrity. Nobody needs to tell us whether we're in integrity with ourselves, whether we're pursuing a noble cause. We should know it in our heart. And that's what I want to invite you to do. Check your attitude. What attitude are you approaching this situation with? This situation, this goal, this challenge, this task, this objective, whatever it is. What attitude is it there? And here's a question for you. Could it be that you need to refine that attitude? That means, could it be that you need to go back and sharpen up your why? And we'll talk about it in future videos, why factor. I talk about it on the Urban Spirituality podcast. Go back and look at some of the episodes. We touch on this important point about our why factor. What's the why? So go back and refine your why. Check in with your purpose. Secondly, check, is it noble? Is it in integrity with yourselves? Do you feel right in your heart, your gut, that what you're doing is coming from a place of goodness for yourself and for the other person? If there's an imbalance between the place of goodness between yourself and the other person, or yourself and that thing that which you are pursuing, if you know somewhere that it's not right, you'll know it. So check in with that. Listen in. Become your own heart mechanic and listen in for that. So that's the second thing, your attitude. And then thirdly, your latitude. What I'm referring to particularly in latitude is the flex factor, latitude. Having the flexibility to course correct as you move in to that goal, as you pursue that goal, that objective, that person, that relationship. Having the flexibility to know that you need to be flexible, especially if it's a person. You need to allow for the foibles, the idiosyncrasies, the unique characteristics of that individual, and be able to become more sensitive and tuned into what that other person wants, what that other person's needs are, what lights their fire, what makes them tick, and what do you need to do and who do you need to be in order to help bring out the best in that person. And I think when we tune ourselves with our gratitude factor, then the attitude, having the right integrity, coming from the right place and space, then it becomes easier to have the latitude and give the latitude, offer that latitude for that person, because everybody needs that. We need to be patient. Latitude also means patient. Latitude also means forgiveness. Forgiving ourselves if we don't achieve a particular milestone, or forgiveness for the other person or the other situation if it doesn't meet our objectives. It doesn't turn out the way we want. We need to be able to forgive the situation, the person, and ourselves. So that speaks to latitude, having that latitude, that flexibility. And it talks about course correction. I mean, I come from a project management background for nearly 3 decades. So I have a little bit of experience, just a little, in managing projects, people, communities around the world. And one of the lessons I learned is, as a manager, as a leader, we have to learn to be able to be flexible, be able to be understanding, give a wide berth to people, not lose our rag, keep our stuff together, and then still course correct when we go wrong, or allow others to course correct when they go wrong. So course correcting, adjusting as we go along, refining as we visit milestones on our path, as we achieve certain objectives, or as we don't achieve them, doing a little evaluation. Where did we go wrong? What didn't we do right? What could we have done better next time? Or how do I change the course that I'm on? What modifications do I need to make? Or what changes do I need to make in myself or the approach that I'm taking in order to improve the results I'm getting? So that speaks to latitude. So there you go. The gal formula. Get yourself a gal. I'm not sexist. Get yourself a gal. It's just a brain tattoo for you to remember. Where's your gal? Where's your gratitude, attitude, and latitude at? Revisit those 3. Refine how you're approaching them. Check in with who you're being. And then see what results you get. I'm not perfect. I'm just sharing what I've experienced, what's worked for me, what's worked for my coaching clients. I'm sure there are many things that work for you too, and maybe that's a good opportunity to share that in the comments. Share what works for you, because that way we're all learning, we're all benefiting. So on that note, I'll leave it here. And of course, an invitation. Anybody who's in and around London, this Thursday, the 26th of January, in the evening, experience a shift in these 3 factors: gratitude, attitude, and latitude, at our Going Deeper event. It truly is transformational at the heart and the deepest level, in your mind and your heart. It is not for everyone, but if you feel bold and courageous to come and spend 3 to 4 hours with us, you can have magical results. So drop me a line, check in if you want to come along. It'll be a pleasure to have you. There's a few spaces left. And last but not least, please check out the podcast, because there's a lot of this wisdom, practical wisdom, from spiritual, metaphysical, applied psychology, peak performance, all these areas for the human experience, to maximize and optimize it for us on the Urban Spirituality Podcast. Available on iTunes, Spotify, free of charge. Just Google Urban Spirituality Podcast. You'll find it. Go tune in and check out the YouTube channel of the same name. That's it. I bid you farewell wherever you are in the world. If this has been helpful, please share it. I'm going to get some rest. Take care. Namaste.